Hello, everybody, and welcome to my Lunch and Learn series. I'm Helen Panos, Dynamis Learning. It's a K through 12 tutoring SAT prep company. We also do executive function and advocacy. I apologize for being a little late. I was getting caught up in this technology thing a little bit. So we are here to talk today. I'm doing it as a lunch and learn today, no guests. So we're here to talk about resiliency and how to help children be resilient and thrive in society. So let's first begin with talking about what is resiliency and how we can empower our youth to thrive. So it's defined as the capacity to withdraw or to recover quickly from difficulties. It's the ability to have that bounce back ability from hardships. We're seeing a lot of people not doing that. So that's something that you can actually teach. And we're going to go over 5 strategies on what parents can use now to help their children build these skills up. So some people may not think that resiliency can be taught, but the good news is it definitely can. And it's a mental muscle, actually. We have the capability of shaping our resilience and increasing it over time. So the sooner you begin doing that, the better for your children. So for this reason, it's important that we, as adults, parents, grandparents, aunts, everybody, get on board and fostering this trait via their strengths and support systems. So parents, if you're listening to this, then kind of share this information with your parents and anybody, aunts, uncles, anybody that's around your children to double enforce it. This is what will help our children and society overcome challenges, and we have many of those in today's world, and probably more to come in their generation. So, and it'll help them work through difficult problems as they encounter adversity in life. So this is a very important skill. That's why I put it back on for the Lunch and Learn this year. I did this last year. I do have a blog on it. Happy to share that blog link so you'll get the details of it. But our youth is being constantly bombarded, we can all agree with this, with emotional situations, whether it be from family or outside distractions going on. And we have a lot of outside distractions in this world. Having the ability to overcome the effects of these things is what will make a child more resilient. The great news or the goal is not to keep them from experiencing disappointments in life. They're going to experience that and they need to, but to foster the skills that they would need to use when a difficult situation arises. This is a very important skill to teach your children. I'd like to share five practical strategies for parents to use and to help empower their children and encourage them to thrive in our world regardless of roadblocks. And this is for grandparents, again, anybody, aunts, uncles, whoever is around children. You could use these as well, or some of these. So number 1 is teach kids from a young age how to follow a daily routine. Even in the summer, we tend to get off our daily routines in the summer, but try to stay on a daily routine as much as possible in the summer. But then once fall and school starts back again, get back on that routine. So structure is very important in this world, especially when it comes to young children. The younger they are, the more structure they need early on. Today, parents have a very hard time following a routine themselves due to their very busy schedules. They work, moms work as well, so it gets a little bit harder. Routines typically calm the mind, which helps children to understand when it's time to work versus when it's time to have fun and play, right? So routines are extremely important. And if you have a nanny or a babysitter that comes over, stress that even with them. Leave them notes about that or discuss it with them. I did that. We were just out of town, and I did that even with our dog and the dog sitter. I had actually, believe it or not, 5 pages of notes. I'll let her know that these are some prompts and things that you can say to the dog that he's used to hearing. She really appreciated that. Some people might think that's overkill, but it's important to try to keep the dog even in a routine when you're out of town. So take breaks. Number 2 is take breaks when needed. This is not only goes for adults, but for children as well. Adults modeling the fact that they take breaks throughout the day is a good thing. So kids need to see that. Again, if they're over at grandparents' house for vacation for a week, something like that, and instill this in your parents, and let them know that they need to give their children breaks as well. Otherwise, they're not going to understand the importance of breaks. And it's really about a life balance, a work-life balance routine. And they get into that being an adult as well. So children today are very exposed to the news, right? So are we. Online information and other means of communication going on. It's important to discuss the benefits of taking breaks with kids, especially in today's world. Even though I'm a social studies teacher and was for many years, I understand government economics very much so, probably more than maybe some people that never taught it. And so even the fact that I know a lot about it, sometimes I read things and I'm surprised about how much more I can learn. Now, I use it more as a learning tool to learn even more from others that I hear. But as long as you don't allow things to get to you as an adult, then you can do that. But again, I take breaks. I don't have the news on during the day. I usually read Substacks more so nowadays instead of the traditional news. So it's important to discuss the benefits again of taking the breaks with kids. Once they understand it, any anxiety that they may start to creep up will disappear. See, so this is all about trying to keep the mind calm. And we know there's a lot of anxiety going on in this world today. So this is one way to kind of prevent that from happening. Number 3, we're going to do the third strategy. That's all about teaching self-care to children and adults, you too. Kids are never too young to validate self-care. It's important that kids understand how eating properly, getting exercise, and good sleep affects how they function. So kind of going back to our summer schedule, lunch and learn that we did a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, we talked about keeping to a pretty good schedule even over the summer. So, they probably want to sleep a little later, get up, maybe not as early. So keep to that routine, whatever that is, and then go back to getting them ready for the school routine at least a week to 2 weeks before school starts, which unfortunately will be in July, is when you would have to start the school routine. So every child also needs fun time as it fosters a well-balanced child and life, and consequently, it allows a child to be more efficient and handle stressful situations in a much better way without trauma or crisis. So it's really an emotional intelligence and emotional balance thing. So the earlier we can teach them that without them really realizing, even from young, that you're doing that, the better. They'll just role model it. Number 4 is connecting with people. So since COVID, we saw a lot of people just kind of backing out and staying at home. A lot of people still work from home. So they don't get out and connect with people. Even while I'm walking my dog, I tend to try to talk to at least a couple people and find out a little bit about them. They're probably my neighbors, and I've never met them, depending on where they live in the neighborhood. So I try to strike up a conversation because I am home myself quite a bit, especially over the summer. I'm out and about tutoring or going into homes. So, and most of our business now is 95% virtual. So I don't have to get out much, but I do a lot of networking out in person. So this is something that we have to teach our children is from young is, the world needs empathy. So listening is something that is hard to do with all the noise in the world. And a lot of people are just quick to not listen and in a hurry. So I watched a lady down in Jekyll at the pool tell her 8-year-old child, after he got out of the pool, another man was going to take him off to go do something. I think they were a family member. And she said, no, he can stay right here. He needs to learn some patience, and I'm going to keep him here for a little bit. And so I thought that was very interesting. I actually complimented her on that because kids are so used to being on the go, go, go. What's next? What's next? I need to be entertained. And she was over here trying to just teach them some patience and tell them to just sit in quietness for a few minutes. So I thought that was very interesting. I've never seen that. So listening is something that is hard to do with all the noise in our world, but it's a good skill to have and develop. It really is. I need to work on that myself. A connection can also include strengthening family ties, as family is usually a child's number one support group. So think about that. If you're out of town from your family, you don't live in the same city, maybe Zooming them. I know we do a family call once a month with my husband's family. So we've really built up getting to know each other better. And it's great for me being an in-law that I've gotten to know them better. Otherwise, I wouldn't have. They're all the way in Ohio. So I'd say try to do a Zoom call every so often, or pick up the phone and call them every so often. Let your children talk to them. And then they're building a rapport with somebody, and it'll come clear which person they trust the most, maybe, and the one they connect with the most. So connection can also include strengthening that family tie. And that builds resiliency, believe it or not. Yes, it does. Connecting with people. All right, number 5 and the last one is setting goals. I love goals. So setting goals and meeting those goals. My favorite thing is to have kids do it in a set of 2 or 3 goals per semester. And that could be like right now, they could be doing some personal goals over the summer. Younger kids can set 2 goals, and then by the time you're in 6th grade, they can set 3. I do have a SMART goal planner. I can include that link here for you to get that. There's something powerful about setting goals and working toward them. And, parents can check in on how's that going? And my actual planner is really good about that. It asks those kind of questions, like who can help you reach this goal? What challenges might you see may happen along the way when you're trying to reach these goals? So that's a good time to check in maybe with your children once a week on those goals to see how they're going, and maybe give them some suggestions if they're falling behind. So sit down with your children, discuss coping mechanisms related to everyday stresses. That's important. As an adult, it's a perfect time to show the child how you yourself cope with challenges at the office or in life. Include them in if they're old enough to understand that. Letting children know there's not just one way to deal with a situation is also very powerful. So you can teach them that at the moment. And another important aspect to point out about resiliency is that how you build the skills, not necessarily how your neighbor may do it. Okay. So, or a relative. So they should be aware of that. There are many situations, challenges, and solutions to be found. And the most important thing is to position your child in a scenario where they learn to basically solve problems. I'm not sure how much of that they're doing in school is a problem solution. So I think that needs to be reinforced at home as well. Summertime is a great time to do this. This is very valuable in strengthening the child's motivation, and consequently, it'll make their life a lot easier as they face uncertainties moving forward. And we are going to have uncertainties in this world, if not in your own families. Everybody does. We can all agree on the end game, which is that raising strong, healthy children can lead the world and also solve problems with ease. That's the main goal that we all have. So I just wanted to come on and share this. I love this topic about resiliency. It's one of my favorites. So again, recapping the 5 that I'm suggesting that are strategies that, and try to use them all if you can. If not, at least introduce a couple of them this summer. Teach kids from a young age on how to follow a daily routine. Take breaks when needed. Teach your children self-care from young. Connect with people, and then set goals. Those are the 5. You can implement those pretty easily, I think, over the summer if you haven't already. Some of these you may already be doing. So pick a couple at least and try to implement them. Include your family members in on that. Let them know what you're doing. And I think you're going to get a very well-rounded child. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. We will be back on next week. I'll be talking about AI, actually, and the benefits of that in the classroom coming up. That's something that's going to be mandated. So get ready for that topic next Wednesday at 12 noon Eastern time. Have a great rest of your day. All right, guys. And if you need to reach me, reach out. Let me find the information. It's info@dynamislearningacademy.com. And my number is 770-282-9931. And unfortunately, I can't get my hands on it because I have a lot of these right now in my save box here. So again, 770, here we go. info@dynamislearningacademy.com or 770-282-9931. There you go. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. I will have that link for you for the SMART Goal Planner because I think that would be great for you to have. All right, bye for now.